What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Learning Things with Kyle and Phil. I am Kyle.
And I'm Phil.
And today's guest is an absolutely incredibly talented dancer, entertainer, performer. She is everything. She is a whole bunch of fun, and it was such a fun day getting to learn things about the lovely Gabriella Alexis.
Truly amazing. This person, so me and Kyle, we didn't personally know her before the podcast, but we each had a friend who knew of them and just thought that she was awesome. So it was really cool having her in here and just talking to her about so many different things. Like
tons of things. We talked about her childhood, which was a ton of fun. There's a lot of really cool information in this episode about dancing, professional dancing, working in a strip club, and tons of kind of just art. And she's somebody who makes her own clothing and kind of what it means to be a performer and an entertainer in that realm, and what she's been doing through the pandemic as well, that she has had to, take a left turn, take a right turn, and kind of just maneuver her way, on her journey as a performer during this time as well.
No, we talk about like all that type of stuff, how we don't really talk about, the standard pandemic stuff, but we just talk about how we're all dealing with different things and how people are seeing different options now that, they're being taken care of by the government and all that stuff, and what it means for individuality and creativity as a whole. And it was really nice to hear her talk about her journey coming from the Midwest, to Philly first for school, and then eventually leaving that and going to New York City and starting in ballet. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful podcast and great interview.
Yeah, she was a bunch of fun. It was so great to get to know her, and I look forward to fostering a friendship with her in the future. 100%. I would love to have her back on the podcast and get to know more about her again in the future, which would be a ton of fun. So
totally.
Yeah. Today's episode of the podcast, is brought to you by our lovely sponsors, Coco Jordana Photography. Thank you so much for your support at the upcoming shoot that we're going to have with you. I just cannot wait. You've taken my headshots in the past. You're an absolutely amazing photographer. Please, please, please go check her out. She is running a special with the Learning Things podcast. If you email her, and use the code LEARN20, that's capital LEARN 20, she's going to give you 20% off any of her packages. She is a headshot photographer, a fashion and editorial photographer, a commercial photographer, and she also shoots weddings. Please go find her on Instagram at Coco Jordana, CocoJordana. And she is also on the internet at cocojordanaphotography.com. And you can also find her at the bottom of our website homepage, where we host all of our sponsors, just by clicking on her logo.
There you go, guys. Save a little money and help out a friend. She does really, really great stuff. Yeah. I've seen her profile. I've seen her website. And everything she does is truly just great. It's amazing. So you're getting an insane deal just by doing this.
Yep,
so
she's legit. She's also an actress, so she knows what the industry is looking for.
Perfect.
And she knows what the entertainment industry in general is looking for if you're not just an actor. Yeah. Also, a huge shout out to our sponsor, Good Luck Dry Cleaners. Thank you so much for your constant support. We love your
t-shirts, by the way.
Absolutely incredible t-shirts. They have hats, they have hoodies, but that's not what they are. They are an incredible gallery here in New York City. They move around from location to location. They're constantly throwing new events and partnerships with amazing brands all over New York, all over the world. It is run by Phil Reese and Jeremy Penn, two amazing, amazing human beings. Please go check them out on Instagram, Good Luck Dry Cleaners, at Good Luck Dry Cleaners. You can also find them on the internet at www.goodluckdrycleaners.com. Thank you guys so much. Go check them out. Buy some merch. Give them some support. New York hates you. That's right.
There you go, guys. Seriously, check out their merch though. We had some of their stuff, a couple episodes back, and I still use it. Their New York hates you mask is really, really cool. I always like having like little swag like that. It's always fun. and their t-shirts are great as well. So definitely check out their stuff. And thank you guys, and thank you other Phil for sending clothes to us. I always gotta credit the other Phil.
You do. I appreciate that. Last but not least, we want to say thank you to our last sponsor, Peaceful Squirrel. Thank you so much. We've been eating your snacks over here on the side. We haven't been really bringing them into the podcast much, but we eat them with our guests every podcast. Thank you so much. They are an incredibly healthy alternative snack delivery, curated for the things that you need and the things that you like, especially if you have any kind of intolerant to, say, gluten like Phil does, or if you want to go vegan and you want something without animal products in it. They are what you need. Phil loves them and has a great experience with them as well. So you can
exactly, like, if you guys have any sort of dietary restrictions or anything, this thing is perfect because, with dietary restrictions like, dairy or gluten, you really have to pick and choose all this stuff. No, they do that for you. They send it straight to you. It's mindless, So now you can keep watching Netflix, doing whatever. And you got a bunch of snacks right next to you that are totally catered to who you are. So definitely check out Peaceful Squirrel. Yeah, their stuff is great.
Yep, you can find them on Instagram at Peaceful Squirrel. You can also find them on Amazon. They have an Amazon store right now. Their website will be up and running soon, but if you type in Peaceful Squirrel on Amazon, they will pop up surely. You can also find them at the bottom of our homepage on our website, learningthingspodcast.com, just as all of our sponsors are at the very bottom of the homepage. Just by clicking their logo, it will take you directly to their page. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Let's get into class with Gabriella Alexa.
Yeah.
Amazing. Gallexii, the galaxy is within you. Yeah. You are the galaxy.
Let's do it.
Yeah, enjoy the show.
Time to start class.
Let's do it.
All right. Peace.
I was teaching some of my skills at one point, again, as just another forms of monetization.
She's got the jitters.
You see how hard I work at this YouTube shit? I know how to pronounce that shit.
No, this is like a combination of, like, I shouldn't say dyslexia. I would call it more my synesthesia, because I do see letters and numbers as colors.
Oh, wow.
And so sometimes I just get I'm just seeing the tones of the word.
Tell us more about that, though.
Detail.
When did you get diagnosed with that shit? What happened? That's a story. Motherfuckers can't just see letters and colors and just accept that shit.
It's funny to me because in my head, I swear I'm like, everyone does, and they're just not aware of it. I feel like it's just like a super, super meta to where people are just like not conscious of it. But no, I mean, my family, I have a lot of siblings, so it's like it just kind of like came up at the dinner table one time, and like half of my family has it and half doesn't. And so we just kind of be debating about like which color was which.
Wow.
And like half the family is just like, y'all are crazy. And then the rest of us were like, B is not yellow. It's obviously orange. Like 7 is green. What are you talking about?
That's crazy.
And for me, it's color, and then it's also like personality. Like there's, kind of like gender tendencies, if you will, and just other personality traits.
So let me, because I know a little bit about synesthesia, but I don't know a lot.
Yeah.
So when you said like 7 is green, right? Like, so what, like you just, no matter what the actual numerical number color it is, to you it's inherently, like, what does green inherently mean to you then?
Are
you guys taking acid right now? If not, drop that shit.
Because it's about to get
we about to break down perspective, baby. I want to hear everything you think about this.
One thing I noticed is like numbers and shapes. Like, okay, so for instance, a triangle is yellow for me, and like 3 is yellow, and like a square is orange, 4 is orange. Like those things that correspond. Like there's little things I'll notice, but a lot of it it's just, I don't know. There's no really rhyme and reason. It just is. Like I just like 6 is pink. 6 is the most feminine number. Like 6 is like always seeking of attention.
Well, 6 got a
pink,
fatty.
But 2 is a lighter pink.
6 got a fatty though. You know what I mean? 6 definitely.
It's really curvy.
It's curvy as hell.
6 is super curvy.
It's
like
6 or 8. It's 6 or 8.
What about 8?
But 8 is like a dark
infinity.
Black, right? Dark,
troubled.
Like black with almost a purple like undertone. And then for me, 8 is actually like pretty androgynous. Ooh. 7 is also very androgynous. But like 5, like very masculine, the very easygoing blue, like a darker, deep blue.
Wow.
What's can I ask you? What's 13?
13. Well, 1 is white and 3 is yellow. So it's both.
Okay.
Some people, and also this is just one form of synesthesia, specifically letters, numbers, and colors, and then within that, certain people.
So you're doing letters and numbers, right? So what do you see from our names? Like what sort of personality distinctions could you make from what we're named as? Like my name is Philip Burke, and his name is Kyle Ulsberger. Right. What about our personalities could you gather through your synesthesia and seeing our names?
I mean, it's like a little separate because it's like, okay, the name might initially take, okay, so it's like for
this is
name
so
or
interesting to me. I'm sorry. Yeah.
For a name or a word, it would initially, when I'm least familiar with it, it's going to initially take on, all the individual colors of the individual letters. As I become more familiar with the concept itself, it can start to take on different hues, or certain things can kind of blur and blend to take on. Like for people, yes, they might start to take on the colors that I sense of their aura, or a certain word, like I don't know if there's just like a sound, because it's also I have it, with corresponding of sound, so it's like certain sounds have like certain colors, and it's very spatial. Wow. So if a word has a very distinct sound to me, that sound really gives me a color, that might then start to bleed onto my perception. So it's like
the things that are dominant and the thing kind of take over.
It's not always super clear. Like sometimes it can be really helpful with memorization, because if I'm remembering like someone's number or like an address or something, and I'm like, oh shit, what was like the last 2 numbers? And I'm like, oh well, I'm seeing red, so it had to be a 9. But it can also mess up the order, because I might just be seeing the jumblation of the colors, and I'm not remembering what was where.
So does this help you with your music as well? Because I saw some of your music and stuff, and it was really cool. And now that you bring this up, because I've heard about people with synesthesia when it comes to piano and instruments and stuff. I only saw you singing. Do you play instruments also as well?
Yeah. I'm most trained in piano.
Oh wow.
I'm going to play classical piano.
Synesthesia, piano, yeah. That shit real.
And then like keyboardist in some bands and whatnot. And then singing is a little bit newer in the sense of me like really focusing on it, or even just like really like practicing specifically. And then I also like started electric guitar. But yeah, I mean, it's there's the experience of listening to music, and then it's like, okay, if I'm specifically trying to learn something or memorize the song, that then I'm gonna because it's all about patterns. For me, music, it's like, yes, the colors are there, but I feel like I use that much as a tool. I'm more so using the tools of, the patterns and like the spatial structure.
That's just, I just feel like you telling all this is just such an amazing thing, because it's just that's like, crazy. Life is nothing but perspective, and just challenging your perspective against another person's perspective. You know what I mean? That's essentially what art is. Like when you go to a museum, you both look at some shit and you go, I'm seeing some shit. Are you seeing this thing? We might not know what the cause or the emotional, background of the art that we're looking at is, but we can both agree that's a melting clock right there. And that makes us feel more comfortable. Or we're both hearing Kendrick Lamar at the same time. You know what I mean? It makes us feel like we're in our right place in the universe. So it's like, have you ever tried psychedelics? Does that fuck with your head when you do them? What is,
Real quick, before we get to that, I think an interesting something that I can kind of relate to when it comes to the synesthesia is like, I don't know if you've ever been in a sound bath. Have you been?
No, I would love to, but
sound bath.
Sound bath. When I was in a sound bath, it was probably the most without doing any drugs. It was probably one of the craziest like natural trips like I've ever had. Like I started feeling waves, and I felt like I was actually in the ocean. I started seeing colors as well.
Is that like a sensory deprivation tank?
No. It's so, if you kind of go to like an eclectic or, very spiritual like group, they hold sound baths. So there might be 2, 3, 4, 5 people on a stage. Okay. And it kind of starts out as like a meditation. What it really is a meditation.
Gotcha.
But you lay down and you get really comfy, and they make you feel very comfortable in the classroom, wherever you are. And they're on stage, and they have several instruments. They have the bowls with the with the stone. I don't even know the name of the balls. Balls? The bowls. I don't know the name of the bowls. And then they have all kinds of different instruments.
I know what you're talking. I've seen those bowl things with the that makes the ring sound.
Kind of makes like certain ohms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Vibrational, sensory stuff. Yeah.
Fucking Tommy Bahama.
Hey, Tommy Bahama.
Chill.
Shout out to Sheris. Sharubba-dub. I love you, baby. Thank you for the shirt. So you're calling me Tommy Bahama today, and then what else? You said I should be in a Japanese fucking rock.
We were listening to this cool ass MF Doom Japanese mix album that he did before he died, and it's super chill, very like 80s new wave Japanese type shit. You ever seen Yu Yu Hakusho? It sounds like the theme song for that. Very great. And I was saying, like, it was playing, he just looked, in his element. You know what I mean? And I was just like, he just looks like he's supposed to be in a commercial with just like, on some Lost in Translation shit.
Lost in Translation. I love that.
Dancing a
I
little bit.
love that. It's right where I belong. But I mean, sound baths, man. If you haven't done it, and anybody who's listening, I highly, highly, highly recommend sound baths.
That's incredible.
They are incredible. I was blown away by where I went. It took me into a whole other place, but it was absolutely incredible.
Have you ever tried any like therapeutic procedures like that, like sound baths or even just going for like steams? Do you take care of yourself in that sense?
I mean, sadly, the spas were closed for a minute. I mean, at least like as far as just being able to go and like just use like the saunas and steamers and all that. I think some are opening back up, but I mean, of course, we all try to have our little luxury moment here and there, ball out and do our self-care. But like anything like really like specific like that. Not that I can think of.
Yeah. I want to go back to your dancing. Were you dancing before you came to New York?
Not in clubs. I had grown up doing classical ballet, and then I had started taking pole dance classes like maybe 6 months before I moved to New York.
Okay, cool.
And there was this amazing place, Flaunt Fitness. If anyone lives in Philly, oh my god, you have to.
I have some friends out in Philly right now. So plug that shit hard as hell. Good.
Same. I got Philly listeners as well.
My friend Cara, like, she'd probably love all that shit because she's into like kind of burlesque and everything. So.
Totally. I don't know. I mean, mind you, when I was training, this was like 6 years ago there, but they had an insane deal for like their monthly membership. It was just absurd, so dirt cheap, and it was for everything because they had silks and lyra and like random things like trampoline fitness and
That's what I do.
That's cool.
We're like knocking through the
Find me on a trampoline every Saturday over at Equinox.
I'm done. But so that place was great for like 6 months. I would just go there like 3 times a week, and having had the ballet background, I was able to progress really quickly. But I thought I was gonna take the competitive route and just compete with it and like just still have like a career in fashion or who knows what. But then when I had moved to New York, it just became very clear financially and time-wise that we were gonna have to take a different route. You were working with my friend Bitsy. I think that's the connection.
I realized that like yesterday. I was like, it was through Bitsy because I used to work with Bitsy at the Standard.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, Bits.
Over at Pumps.
Yeah.
Oh. I was actually supposed to come in there a couple times and I never went.
Damn, you missed that opportunity.
I'm fucking pissed.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this is actually rare too. This is the first time one of our guests knows that we both know you by somebody else.
Word.
Right.
Marley.
Oh my god.
Yeah, works at Arrogant Swine. Yeah.
Oh, that's like my best bitch.
Yeah.
No, I was just with her. Her birthday party weekend. We went up and we went to the Poconos.
She's dating Daniel Simonson now, I think.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Should I say that?
Oh, he is a comedian.
I'm like, oh shit. Whatever.
Not sure if it was out to the public yet, but now it is.
Yes, I got to meet him. Shit. Oh my god. Those are 2 of my my favorite dancers. Some of my close friends. So and Marley got me into skydiving. I mean, I'm not a pro like her. I've only done it 3 times.
No, she's a beast. But tell me about this. So like when I first saw your videos and stuff, there's something about you that just has so much confidence. You know what I mean? It's a very like relaxed confidence, but it is confidence, and it's a it's a bravery, I think, you know, in a certain way that I
Word.
recognize in myself. This is just my way of jerking myself off. Not complimenting you. But no, I wanted to ask you, like, where did you get that from? What was your childhood like? Did your parents cater to that, or did you have to find that in yourself?
Right.
I missed the first 10 minutes of this podcast searching for my cat. So
Don't worry, we haven't hit on our childhood yet, my friend.
We haven't done that.
yeah, like where do you grow up and all that?
Right. Yeah, so I had grown up in Michigan. I grew up in a big family, so I think naturally with a big family, you at moments you might kind of have to do the most to fight for the attention.
Yeah.
And you can also, it's also nice because you can kind of like hide within it. Like
Totally.
I spent a lot of times just in my room, just door closed, tucked away. It was, you know, I think it was pretty normal to most people, but to my family, like, oh my God, you're always just so emo, just always just door closed. Like, why do you hang out with us?
That's exactly what I thought when you came to the door. No, that's funny.
But no, I think, I mean, I would say, I mean, my family is full of characters too. So it's like, I think we all definitely just like have unique personalities one way or another. So it's like, I think I was just kind of around these different things that I can kind of like play off of.
Were your parents like all like born and raised here, or they're immigrant family?
My father, he had moved to the Bronx from England.
Okay, because I knew I hear some type of little accent type thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But you said Michigan, so I'm like, she's probably Jamaican, and her parents talk all this shit. You know what I mean? Or like Trinity or something. You know?
My dad has his few phrases, his few little Jamaican phrases that he'll throw around for fun. But I think honestly, I've like kind of slowly taken that on since I moved to New York.
Really?
I think I used to be honest, I had just more of that like really just like to me what I just find a very basic Midwest voice, and I hated that. So I just kind of I was like, anytime I'm around something and I like how it sounds, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna add that to my repertoire.
Yo, there's no shame. I went down to Austin in 2016 for the Austin Film Festival.
Yeah.
I was only down there for a week, and I swear to God, I sounded Southern as fuck.
Yeah.
You would have thought I just got my freedom. I swear to God, bro. I sounded Southern as hell.
I just got my freedom.
Bro, some Texas girl was like, "Why do you sound so Southern, bro?" She thought I was from Texas when she was like, "Why do you still sound that Southern, bro?" I was like, actually, darling, I'm from New Jersey. Toodaloo.
You're out there talking to Matthew McConaughey and shit,
yeah,
going to his
straight.
class. You're like, hey, man.
Like I'm ready to sell a Lincoln or some shit, man. You know?
That's where those deals come in, baby.
but I think ultimately, if anything, what kind of was like the main shaping element was just the fact that I knew from a young age that I was not in a place where I was around a lot of like interesting, to me, at least what I found to be interesting people, or at least like a lot of diversity.
I feel you.
Or just like culture in general. And so I knew that I was going to have to move to New York or a more metropolitan area, you know, sooner than later. So I knew that, frankly, if I was going to be able to adapt to those type of environments, I knew I was going to have to just be an actor to a certain extent. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's
Fake
like,
it till you make it.
there's a certain kind of acting for film and video. There's a certain kind of live acting, and there's certain techniques that you have to learn for that type of shit. But like so many of us like just act in a day-to-day life, and there's like just that real life acting.
You're completely right.
You know? So it's like, I knew I was gonna have to perform if I was gonna.
And what about the dancing and stuff? Like, you know, obviously you were in ballet and everything, but when you transferred to dancing in clubs and everything, did your parents know? Did they care? Was it something that it's like they always taught you to, you know, just do whatever you want with your body and be free? Or were they just, it was the opposite of that, right?
I was
from the laughs, I even stopped the question out loud. frequently doing an outfit change in the car, like halfway while I was driving to get to the next event, because I could never walk out the house and anything that I actually wanted to. Wow. Were they very religious?
Yeah. Yeah. So there was definitely also just that natural, a lot of stuff kind of being bottled up, and that whole just like rebellious coming of age phase that, you know, so that was definitely part of it. But I also like, I think there's just an extent where it's just, in my fucking blood, I'm just a fucking performer. Like,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
love to just be in the spotlight. Oh, I have your eyes? Okay. And we're on.
Yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, you're fucking sick. I mean, the videos that you post on Instagram are just insane. I'm like, I mean, just your regular dancing. I mean, your pole work is insane. Like, you do some shit that I've never seen anybody do. I'm like, God damn, this girl's doing some crazy shit. Crazy. If you just plug your Instagram right now so everyone can go see your page. Let's get these followers going.
Gallexii.
Gallexii. It's just Gallexii, right?
Gallexii,
No underscores, no nothing.
No, that is signature me.
Gallexii, Gallexii.
One, next question though, how long did it take to get that pole installed in the house?
Oh,
you know
and
what I mean?
when we had a little
Because I see it's in
retreat.
your room and shit. And then every time I see some Marley's videos, they got a pole there. I'm like, nigga, is
Right.
this shit collapsible?
Yo.
Or like, are they calling up like freelancers, TaskRabbit to fucking?
Literally, Marley texted me like a week before, and she's like, "Shit, do you know like anybody with like a freestanding pole? Because there are like certain poles, you know, that they're like a stage pole, where they have a weighted bottom to where it doesn't have to, you know, reach the ceiling. It doesn't. It's not a tension rod. But currently, I do not have that just yet. Hopefully very soon. But anyway, so we were like, because a lot of the ceilings were slanted in the house, but she's like, you know, I think there's like a little side area. It shouldn't be more than 8-9 feet. And I was like, all right, I'll bring my pole because shout out to X Pole. They're pretty easy to transport.
Nice.
Yeah, so I set it up within like 20 minutes and
Wow,
we're dancing.
that easy. Look at that.
Yeah.
Such an industrious dancer. Look at that.
20 minutes. To
Like
set
a
that
little
up. That's
Johnny
insane.
Appleseed.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there'll be times where some shit be annoying or wrong or, you know, but on a good day, honestly, 20 minutes, not even. On a good day, actually, I think I took it down. In 7 minutes.
Wow, okay.
So, you know.
What
I feel like the way you said that
What do we
means
know?
you bring it everywhere. She's like, yeah. Like, is that in your bag right now? Yeah, that shit.
She
About to
shut
pull that
it
shit
down
like a
in 7
magician,
minutes.
nigga.
It was
Yo.
over. It was over real quick, is what
Still
she's
more
saying.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's cool. So I heard you don't really do as much like professional dancing anymore. Do you do more like private stuff or
Well, what do we mean by professional dancing?
like you don't work at like pumps? I guess no one does anymore right now.
Because to me, when I hear professional dancing, I think dancing for pay, and I definitely still dance for pay. But I'm being much more specific, and I upped my rate. It's not gonna be quite as frequent.
Also, what do you mean by specific?
I mean, just, you know,
All the creeps out there, listen up.
like you can't hire me for like $300 to like just like dance at your party anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it depends. Like if it's like homies, like if it's like family, like I can be very accommodating. But you know, in general, it's just. Again, I don't need it. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus more on music and
how does that feel? Like not needing it and feeling the
it's a
freedom of
beautiful
just
thing.
like
It's a beautiful
I can finally choose what I want to be when I want to be.
I get to choose if I want to blister and scrape them out. That's the other thing. After my last week I did a gig, and it was 7 hours. I was very happy with the bag that I received, but it did come at a price. My leg, not for camera, but just for you.
I think they might be able to.
And this is after week, but that's just from the leg, and then I have the mesh on. But there's like part of my shoulder. There's like multiple like burn.
Why? Because they don't grease it, right? They don't.
No, you can't have it greased. You
Hell
have to
no.
stick to
I guess
it.
not. Yeah.
But I happen to be wearing.
But I'm just saying, I don't know. They might put some sort of
No, you would slip
moisturizer.
right off. You would slip right off.
Some shit.
Oh my
you
God,
have
yeah.
to be able to grip it. No, pole dancing is very painful. If anything, I always say it's like, yes, it requires strength and yes, it requires like technique and this and that. But first and foremost, it's pain tolerance, because to actually hold yourself on that pole, to actually stay, like, that is your skin. Your skin is your grip. So you know, you get a lot of what we call pole kisses, but very like a lot of bruising and a lot of like, you know, like metal burn, like that should just can rub that skin right off. But so it really, you know, it's not
It's not as glamorous.
No. And my calluses have died
all the young girls out there.
Yo, I had crazy calluses. There used to be like here particularly, it used to be super raised and always peeling and just like, you know, and it's really hard to like keep nails or.
So how did you? I know you were talking about that like gym in Philly, but like, is there anybody that like mentored you, like took you under their wing a little bit, like coming in as a young person, starting in like, you know, the stripper world and all that stuff? That must have been kind of intimidating and cool at the same time, and so many things. So like, who are the people that guided you?
Peaches! No, Peaches! No, here's the thing. It's a love-hate relationship with Peaches, because no, I would say I would say I kind of had, because I mean, going into it, I did not know a single person who was a stripper. And the first clubs that I went to, I was denied, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I like can do like splits in every which way. I am like a dancer. I've always been a dancer. But I clearly, like, I reeked just like, she does not belong
regular
in the club.
girl.
Like, I just clearly was just not ready to like hustle just yet. I just was not.
She's not gonna spread her asshole.
Like there's a difference. I think what is what you're saying. Are you trying to say like there's a difference between like being technical and being able to dance on a pole and being able to make money?
Oh, completely. It's two different worlds.
Right.
Two absolutely different worlds. In fact, for the most part, if I want to make money, I need to cut all those tricks down. I need to like maybe just throw like one in at the end of a set here, that, but like no, it's none of that. And that's the thing. It's like there was always this war between me just wanting to just like fully just get into it in my own performance, my own world, and just having my own dance, and me actually being like, no, but bitch, you need to like actually be getting your rounds, you need to be collecting money, you need to be doing more floor work and more just like grinding or whatever. Or even sometimes, sometimes, you know, sometimes it's even just the facial expressions. That every girl kind of will find their niche. That's the other thing too. It's like for some people one thing works and the next person it doesn't. You know, not every girl can just turn around and twerk and it works. Not every girl can just be giving the faces and you know, someone's just gonna like, you know, pay their rent. So it just, that's the thing. You have to be down. You have to watch. First of all, you have to watch every single girl in that building and see what all their different tactics are. See what type of customers they talk to. See if they're getting paid. See what they're, all that shit. See what they're wearing. See what they smell like. See it, you know, with their nails, their toenails, all that shit. And you gotta try stuff out, and you just gotta see what actually works for you. And different things are gonna work different nights too. That's the thing. You have to constantly be evolving. You have to constantly be able to just try something else. Sometimes you have to go back to that same customer who just denied you 15 minutes ago because there's not that many options in the club tonight, and you would be like, you know what? I just gave her Tina, but like we're gonna come back with Tiffany. Like
fuck it. So I mean, do you ever? You're talking about like studying people. Like, have you ever just went to the club on a night that you're not working and just like watch somebody like work their shit?
Yeah, technically I probably should have, but like nah, I'm not gonna come to the club on my off day to like do more work shit. Like I've occasionally come with other dancer friends on like a holiday, like 420 or some shit, and we're like, let's go to Pumps and just get fucking stoned. Like, but no, I never like did my homework like that.
Okay. This is the way you were making it sound. I'm
but
like,
no, but here's
damn.
the thing. But that's the thing too. There'll be slow nights. That's what you have to understand. Every night is not like a fucking party. There'll be nights where 3 people come in there that whole 7 hours. So it's like, you know, there'll be downtime where it is just you and the girls. So so then maybe you're not even watching them interact with customers, but you're just watching everything about them. You're just picking up all the shit.
Wow.
What's some like jargon that maybe not a lot of people understand or know? Like, can you tell us like kind of some like code words or maybe some secrets or something like that?
Snitch on everybody out here.
Snitch.
Let us know.
No, that's the whole magic of it. Is you can't. We don't just let in the randos. Like, am I getting paid for that?
You're like magicians or some shit. You're like,
yo, that
code.
shit is sacred. What are you talking about? No, but really, I think too, like the club taught me that like sisterhood and that like true like loyalty and alliance between females. It's like, yeah, there are certain club environments where it can be very cutthroat, no doubt. But I specifically, you know, chose to stay at a club where there was a lot of camaraderie. Of course, there's gonna be the little drama and the yada yada. Of course, there's gonna be everywhere you go, just like any group of people. There's gonna be little cliques and this and that.
Right.
But you know, most of my best friends right now are still people that I danced with, and we learn. It's like you can't. There's a lot of females who haven't really let go of this. They still have this mentality where it's like, if some other girl is winning or some other girl is getting a lot of attention or money or whatever, then that's taken away from my pot.
Right.
No. Let's just let's open those wallets up. Let's just get it flowing. Let's just get the energy there. It's like, you know, it's like
more business is good for everybody.
Absolutely, always. You know. So it's like, it's just, I think we really, as dancers, we just learned to just really rejoice in each other's like come ups and
And what made you like kind of choose like stripping? Because you said like you didn't know anybody. So did you just like one day after the ballet shit, you just needed some money and you just like, I like performing, I'm just gonna go for it.
This is what he missed. This is what he missed.
Yeah, this is exactly.
This was the catastrophe.
Okay.
Hello.
Shit. All right.
The catastrophe.
But yeah, the quick summary is.
No, I'm not talking about her story. I'm talking about the cat.
Oh yeah. She's like, oh okay. I was about to say, I'm like, you're right, motherfucker. Missed the pun. Goddamn.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a second.
Comedian.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm like, hold on, that joke just went right over his head.
Like, no, you know, like, she got hurt.
Catastrophe.
I was like, why is he looking at me like that? What's the joke to
This is the part he missed.
But yeah, no, it was literally pretty much as simple as that. It was just like, all right, let me like rearrange my skill sets right now. Right now, I'm like paying to take pole classes. Why don't I try to make money
doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, my ex used to work at Sapphires as a bartender.
60th Street or the 39th?
I think Times Square, the 39th one.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a bartender though, not a stripper. And she said the same thing about the girls. Like it was tight knit, like super good camaraderie, like you've been talking about, and the security guys like are down, like do not fuck with any of the girls, like they are tight.
Yo, and that's the other thing. That's what I would always miss when I would do other gigs, like whether it's pole dancing or just any other kind of ambiance or anything. I was just like, where are my fucking security? Like, yo, I have been in way worse situations doing other gigs in the club.
Of course,
like,
some kind of freelance shit. You're just there.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I did a gig where they tried to mount a pole on a domed ceiling. That shit fell over, and apparently had already fallen over before it fell over when I was on it, and they put it back up. I must have gotten a concussion because there was a large chunk of that evening that I do not remember. I woke up on the couch just like feeling very fuzzy.
Oh my god.
Damn.
But yo, it's some dude's trying to stick his tongue on my throat. I'm just like, oh no. This is
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Christ.
No, I could totally see that. I mean, men in general, when they're at a club as it is, you know, they feel like they're paying for you, so they kind of get this this feeling of like ownership and like I kind of own you already. Like I've definitely seen that when I've been in strip clubs.
Right.
I've even seen women do that to strippers.
Oh, absolutely.
I was actually in Magic. Actually, it happened when I was in Magic City over the summer. Last summer when I was on the road trip that we always talk about on every fucking podcast. But yeah, at Magic City that happened. A stripper got tight at this girl because she was acting like she was she could do anything to the girl, and I'm like, whoa, what this girl is wilding right now. Like, what the fuck? But so I can only imagine if you're dancing at a private party, you can get in some sticky situations for sure.
And not even by private party, not even necessarily something small scale. I mean, this happened at like a big like party of company that threw it, and it was like a massive venue.
So it was like
Halloween
legit
thing.
or what people would think is legit.
Right.
And it was still just all fucked up and weird.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know where it was, but I mean, I can imagine even just dancing at like House of Yes or something like that. Like, I could definitely see something happening there to the dancers, 100%.
So, what are some things you think need to happen to the stripping world to kind of make it better? Because like stuff like that, I feel like doesn't really need to happen. You know what I mean? Like,
well, when you say stripping world, because right now we're referring to like gigs outside of.
But I mean, a little bit. Oh, so that one you weren't stripping. You were just pole dancing.
Oh yeah, I was just pole dancing.
Oh, okay,
I had a outfit on, whatever, yada yada.
Well, in the greater exotic dance world, you know, not always involving nudity, but you know, in the type of business that you're in, like, what do you think could make, you know, your experiences better? You know.
I mean, yeah, they could definitely just have more security around for sure. I think it's, you know, always really important that dancers have their own like private dressing rooms, things like that. You know, you need to really be able to like step away from the scene. Like there'd be times where you know, you can change in the bathroom, right? It's like, no, girl, it's not about just changing. I need to have some downtime.
Yeah, it's about your mental space.
Area,
yes,
where I'm not
absolutely.
just constantly
full on like green room,
constantly performing and entertaining. That's just really exhausting.
Such as you know, that's what a green room is for.
Totally, exactly,
for musicians.
Exactly. And
I
I do work with a performance agency, which has been great, and Start Creative, shout out.
Awesome.
But yeah, so you know, they're definitely really good about making sure that all those things are part of the contract, and like appropriate breaks being scheduled in and all of that. But you know, so part of it too, it's like as a freelance performer, it's like, yeah, there's initiative that I could take. I could totally, you know, I could give people counter offers if they give offer something like, hey, here, you know, show them, all right, here's my contract, here are the terms you need to meet. And I think that is something that I am like trying to actually organize and start doing.
That's great.
But because that's not really like my focus in general right now.
Are strippers unionized? Is there a union? No.
That would be dope. In fact, yeah, maybe that's what we need to do. I don't know.
I
think it'd be smart as there is. I mean, you're already working for an agency as it is, right? Well, you have an agency that represents you as well.
Right.
But yeah, I mean,
I didn't even know they had agencies.
But this, well, yeah,
I'm actually glad. Sorry, go ahead.
The performance, you know, it's all different types of event entertainment. It's really not. I mean, they do have, you know, some pole dancers and other various kinds of aerial dancers like in their catalog, but yeah, I mean, it's you know, I mean, sometimes we're dancing with like disco ball heads.
Yeah.
Random stuff.
Do all kind of performance dancing. Yeah, for sure.
And you moved here in like 2015, you said, right?
Yeah.
So what was that experience like for you, coming here for the first time, leaving the Midwest and just?
Well, I moved from Philly.
Okay, sorry.
I was going to college in Philly for a few years, but yeah, no. I mean, it was incredible. It was amazing. Like something that I always wanted to do, and it was very surreal to just be like, okay, bitch, like you're actually really taking those steps towards your dreams.
What'd you study in college?
Marketing and entrepreneurship.
Really? And look at you.
Living it up. Marketing my entire life.
Right. There you go.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yep.
Did you graduate or no?
I did not.
Okay.
I did like 2 years, and then I was like, all right, I kind of think I got the gist of what I was here to absorb.
That's fair. People never tell you that, but like, yo, a lot of times if you have a distinct idea about like a degree or certain things that you just want to learn, like little aspects, you can go for half that degree, dip the fuck out, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
for sure.
Like it doesn't have to be like I'm staying. Like nigga, nothing has to be a commitment unless you want it to be. That's what I'm learning the older I get. You know,
I mean,
you got to do what's best for
like,
you.
It's clear that I took an alternative path, but it's like not once has anyone even asked me if I. I mean, people ask me if I graduate college, but never in the sense of like
conversational
whether or not I will get a job.
Yeah,
never,
like you know. And you might have taken an alternative path, but it's a pretty cool path. So
absolutely,
you know,
and there's a lot of training involved.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what's the next step for you right now? You said that money's not really an issue anymore.
I
mean,
like,
I know we're not saying that you're rich.
Right now.
Obviously, money's not as much of an issue for me either. But I'm still recording a podcast in my goddamn room, and I have 4 roommates. Okay, like I know what your reality is. You know, I get it.
Like a bitch like still does like have her food down.
Of course, yeah.
Same here, high five.
I feel you. Like I understand.
I'm right there with you.
Hello.
But you know what I mean. Like creatively, spiritually, emotionally, like where do you think, you maybe even want to be like next year or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not even just job wise, but just, head wise.
Yeah, I think it's only a slight progression from kind of where I am now. Like I think I'm really trying to be more honest with myself and like more realistic with my goals and realistic with just like the way that life kind of progresses and the time frame that things really take. And right now I'm very lucky that all the different things and kind of like categories or different fields of crafts that I want to be involved in, like I at least have my toes like dipped into all those different things. So it's like the seeds have already been planted, like it's happening, the connections are being built. So it's really just a matter of me just being consistent and really following through, because it's it's easy when you're first getting into something and the progress, you see it so clearly.
Oh, we
going
know.
from like beginner to like maybe intermediate. So it's like, whoa. But once get into like the advanced levels to really become a master, it's fine-tuned things that take a lot of times a lot longer. You don't really get the fruit of your labor. It's not quite as apparent. So for me, I'm just like, I just need to be consistent. I need to keep practicing guitar every day, and not every day. That's unrealistic, but at least like 1 to 2 times a week. I need to like continue to just like actually just like practice singing for long periods of time, where I'm really conscious of my breath and I'm conscious about my posture and I'm conscious about all those things, and continue just dancing and just eating well and still socializing, putting myself in situations where I'm around people that fucking inspire me and that can encourage me, but also like test my.
We're just gonna put it like this and turn your volume up a little bit.
That's what we're gonna do from now on.
No reason.
She's handsy.
Fidgety to say the least.
We're gonna have the commenters being like, "What is Kyle? Can we just?"
Too many toys.
Too many haters. Yeah.
Too many toys on the table.
I'll just stick with my ring.
It's all good. Don't worry about it.
I'm taking this away. I'm taking the candle top away from you. I'm not even going to let you play with the candle top anymore.
It's all over.
They trust me with nothing. But yeah, it's like, I would like to see, as far as specifics, I would like to see that in a year's time that I've completed like at least 3 music videos. And for me, like these music videos are gonna require a lot of other stuff, because for instance, like the first one I want to put out, like I want to actually be doing some like ballet partnering, pas de deux, as we would call it. And
what was that? Pas de deux?
Pas de deux.
Pas de deux?
Pas de deux? Pas de deux? Pas de deux?
Pas de deux?
It's like I'm so used to saying it in like the very non-French accent
way
that we would in ballet, and then I'm like, I have kind of studied French, so I'm like, do I kind of give it an accent?
Yeah.
But anyway,
lean in. We encourage you to lean in here at Learning Things. That goes out to all of our listeners today too. Lean in.
That's really cool, man. So you were also talking about surrounding yourself with the right people. Is that something that you have been actively doing? Like, are there people that you've had to kind of like distance yourself from? What's that like? Because I've gone through that a lot.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, I think the timing was definitely convenient in the sense that, okay, we all went through a fucking pandemic where we couldn't fucking see anyone. So it's like, it kind of just like naturally, it was like I went to like a blank slate where it's like, okay, you're not really seeing anyone right now, so now you can just choose who to bring back. And it was pretty much as simple as that. And I literally just kind of like made a list of just like, who are my best friends?
Yeah.
And I just occasionally I'll just check it. If I'm just feeling in the social mood, I'm just like, look at my list, I'm like, oh, haven't seen this person in a while, let me hit him up.
Listen, whenever she doesn't want to hang out with anybody, she can just go hang out with her ball pythons.
Yeah, there you go.
Obviously.
Yeah, how'd you get those motherfuckers?
Shout out to the 3 ball pythons you have sitting in a.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're in. They're in a big
heat and humidity controls drawers. But yeah, shout out to my friend Jackie, for no reason, for my babies.
What are their names?
So we have Samson and Chester. Those are my boys.
Okay.
And then Eden is my girly girl.
Eden.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And how old are they?
I mean, to be honest, I don't know how old they are in life. I know how long I've had them.
Yeah. Okay. You got them from.
You didn't get them like as kind of babies.
I did not get them as babies. Yeah, they were. My friend passed them to me, and I believe at least a couple of them were passed to her from another friend. So
Yeah.
you know, they have kind of lived the adoption life. But what's it called? So I've had them for almost 3 years.
Okay, nice.
And I assume that they were at least that when I got them. So they're probably like, I don't know, maybe 7.
How old can pythons live to?
I think it's like around like up to 40.
Wow. Almost like parrots and shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not like super positive on that, but
like birds can get super old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they can live for like 40 years and stuff. Yeah, so it's very wild. So you got a commitment on your hands.
I hope that they really. That would be amazing if they really like go through the decades of life with me.
Yeah.
So
did you always have an attraction to snakes, or X is your favorite letter, and snake is kind of, and you related it earlier. Snake. Snakes.
The hiss. You like the hiss sound?
Yeah, the funny thing is they don't. I mean, mine particularly, they don't really even hiss that much. Occasionally, if they don't want me to grab them, but it's more of like a nasally.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This is where you turn the camera and you start doing your best ball python impression.
Yeah.
And then we.
She fucking did it. I didn't think she was gonna do it, guys. I'll be honest. I did not think she was gonna do it.
No, but I have to say though, like my snakes are the best dance teacher. They have taught me so much about movement, just like watching them.
Really?
Ooh.
Oh my god, it's so different. Just the initiation. They never. The movement never starts where the movement starts. It's like if I want to move, like my wrist. It's like they're gonna start at the shoulder, and it's gonna be like this ripple effect. You know what I'm saying? It's just like in order to be able to move in that fucking fluid, sexy ass, seductive way that they do, it just wow. It really is something.
So you've always been a snake person.
I mean, I can't really say like always. I think I always like had a little bit of like a fascination towards them, but I thought that I was like a little bit like queased out by them. I always was like. Fuck spiders, but no, one of the earlier gigs I had done in the city, it was for like a music video, and I was supposed to be dancing on the table, and last minute cameras were already rolling, and they were just like, oh, do you mind if we just like drape this boa constrictor over your body while you do this scene?
Oh my god.
Small ask.
Yeah, right. No big deal.
And so me being the fucking 21-year-old new to New York that I
it's
was
like,
I can't say no. Like, but the minute that I felt just like the weight of it and just the control of the movement. It's not this weird, squirmy, fast, like, it's like, it's just so,
knows exactly what it's
so
doing.
intentional.
Yeah, for sure. It's the most variant. Yeah.
Oh my god! So I just immediately I was like, oh no, like we love this. Like,
have you always been an animal person? Were you somebody like that?
I would not call myself an animal person.
Really?
That would be a stretch. I think I can really appreciate the beauty of them in nature. This feels a little hypocritical because again I have ball pythons in a small apartment in New York, so they're not exactly in their natural environment. I'm sorry, babies, but yeah, I'm just not really like. I don't know. I think I already, I leave a lot of things out in kind of like precarious situations to where I don't really need something like jumping all over my stuff or like shedding or it's a whole nother responsibility that for me is just not a priority. The snakes are just a lot more low maintenance to where it just really suits me.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any other animals that you've taken inspiration from when it comes to like your dancing or any kind of performance? Because I think that the snake is one of the coolest references I've ever heard anybody say when it comes to their dancing. Like,
and you would think it would be like the most obvious thing.
Yeah, right.
They're like
definitely.
Some of the only. I mean, I shouldn't say the only dancers, but
they have snake charmers. You know, and that's literally them dancing. Out of a fucking.
Cheetah, like cheetah, or just like a lot of wildcats.
Yeah, cats are cool.
I get cheetah from you for sure.
Cat.
I can see that.
Like as much as
Definitely.
I'm not like a huge house cat person, I do live with a house cat right now. But yeah, I just love like that pounce, like the way they kind of like wind up before the pounce before like
they
running really fast.
Yeah.
It's just
That's cool. So
Visions running through my head, running through my head.
I was gonna ask you though. So you traveled a bit when you were younger and everything. You know, going to Philly and now New York. And then you also said Thailand and all that stuff. So like, where are some of the other places that you've traveled to, or is that kind of it? Because I'll be honest. Since I moved out on my own at 18, I've never went on vacation.
Really?
To be completely fucking honest, yeah.
Damn,
So no judgment here if you're
Word.
like,
He's been to Coney Island.
Yeah, I have been to Coney Island.
That's like going to a whole nother world.
Yeah, it's a far rock away.
Hello.
So that was nice, East New York.
I set a goal maybe like 4 or 5 years ago that I wanted to go to 4 new countries every year, so that hopefully I could go to every country in the world before I die.
Wow.
So I've pretty much almost been able to maintain it in those 4 years. Or is it maybe 3? I don't know. I've been to like a good number of cities in Europe. Barcelona, Madrid, London, Paris,
Really?
Berlin, Amsterdam, Milan, Venice, Rome.
And this is all through just traveling, or were you working out there too also?
No. I think I kind of knew. I mean, okay, technically it's like, all right, again, what do we kind of call this work? Because frankly, I think a lot of that was, if it was ultimately motivated because yes, I want to go to these places and I just want to experience it. But there is this kind of dialogue when you're someone who is active on social media and you have, especially when I was at this time where I was my lifestyle, I was doing these different gigs, and your Instagram is your portfolio. You have to keep shit interesting. Of course. You have to keep shit fucking interesting, and so it just was kind of a logical thing. So in that sense, it was still kind of for work, where it was like I didn't go to like book gigs or like necessarily perform. I wanted to be able to just like travel around and see different sites, but I was very conscious of like planning my outfits in advance and like kind of being aware of like, okay, I might go to these specific places. These colors and these looks are going to be good for that. Making sure to get those shots, even if I'm traveling alone. Like I utilize the hell out of self-timer, and I make sure that, I have something to fucking show for it. As much as that shit can be really exhausting, and there's a time and a place, and I think it's important to also travel and not do that at all.
Of course.
For sure.
But yes.
But there's certain things you need if you're going to have a certain profession. You know what I mean? And that's just it. Like me, I wouldn't personally be on social media at all if I wasn't doing comedy. But now, because I'm doing it, I'm probably the most active on social media.
Word.
And it's not even in my personality set. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's not for me. But I'm like, this is my job, so I just gotta keep pumping this shit
is.
out.
It's exhausting for sure.
It fucking is, man. Oh my God.
Especially when you don't have like a natural want to do it,
Jesus Christ.
For like 3 years, I'm like, can I just get somebody to run my fucking Instagram for me?
Somebody run my fucking page.
If they want to take pictures and like, I'll do that. But I don't want to fucking deal with it. I don't want to post it. I don't want to come up with
captions and
funky captions and all that.
The worst part is that like part of me really is very inclined to it and does love it, but then I overthink the hell out of it, and I just try to make it so like my main thing is the feed. At the end of the day, the individual post, whatever, but I need to be able to look at that grid and need to like a fucking painting. I need to see the exact colors I want to see. I need to see the right range of like different poses of like full bodies. So
you really curate your thing.
Oh yeah.
I love how serious you are about that shit.
It's just that's how I just do anything. If I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna spend any energy, you better believe I'm gonna put my fucking brand and mark on it. And my brand and my mark is just to really just like be very intentional and really just like try to polish and sculpt the hell out of everything.
Nice. That's fucking amazing, man. So
I got rid of Instagram for a month back in December. I was like, all right, it's enough of that. It's not bringing me anything right now, but I'm back on it, obviously.
No, I took 10 months off of posting. Mind you, I would still pop in, check on my friends, scroll through the feed. But I from June until earlier this month, I was just like, for a multitude of reasons, it was just way too much.
I get that. I feel like the only way I keep my sanity on social media is knowing that I only use it for promotions.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I rarely ever put like something that's earnestly me on my thing. Like I might put something that I take a picture and I think it's funny or something, and like make a little caption or whatever. But it's rarely that I'm ever like me and my family or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's really not like that. It's like, come see the show, and, you know, make a dumb joke that way.
I think
so
for
it
me,
serves my sanity.
See, for me, and for me, I'm the opposite because that's the exhausting stuff for me. When I have to do a certain promotion, I have to put it out by a certain time, and it has to be related to like I'd rather, because the order can be tricky sometimes. Like I can't post something right now because I have to post these other things before because they need to be closer to that photo and yada yada yada. And I just hate I hate having to call people to action. I know that's like kind of the whole point of it, but I kind of just rather just post like this is your little peek into my life. I'm not always wanting to tell people like, oh, come here, do this. Do
I
that.
feel you. I just love it because I'm like, well, not really love it, but it's like I can get through that version of social media way easier because it's insincere. You know what I mean? It is.
Totally. No, I feel you.
Yeah. It's just like, hey,
it's
come
not
here.
As vulnerable.
You know, it's not as vulnerable. Like I feel like sincerity needs to be like private. You know what I mean? Like when I'm with somebody that's like my great. I mean, it's all different people too. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like you have a different view of that, but like for me, if I'm hanging out with somebody that I'm like that's like my best friend or something, I probably wouldn't take a picture. I'm not like I try to do better with that now. I have more confidence, and I think it did used to come from a place of like I don't know if I want people to see me. But now I'm more just like, it's just, different strokes for different folks.
Totally.
You know, I don't know where I was going, but I was like, different strokes for different folks. I'd rather just post out a bunch of fucking ads or something. And sincere ads. I mean, I'm running the fucking company, all right? Listen, everybody watching this, I fucking love you, okay? But I'm not showing you a picture of my fucking mother, ever.
Yo, oh my God.
Okay?
I love showing the internet my mother. They eat it up.
You won't see a glimpse
That's
of that woman, ever. Look at me. Fucking look at me. You won't see her. Okay?
Shout outs to Margaret.
Yeah.
Gabriella's
like, I don't know. Should I be
mother.
this like information out?
Well.
Love you, Mom.
She better watch this. She better watch it. You're like, no, I don't want her to hear it. You're like, no, she's heard everything I've had to say. I just don't want her to see.
Are you really close to your mom?
She doesn't want to see us.
I think that we have a healthy, balanced relationship. Do I speak to her like regularly? No, I wouldn't say that. It's
Well, what's your version of regularly?
Right. I mean, to me, regularly would be like once a week or like multiple times a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. Yeah, I get what you mean.
But it's like, I don't know, like she'll check in with a text here, there, if something is like comes up that like corresponds, I don't know. But like, for the most part, it's just, I mean, I try to go and visit like once, if not twice a year. So I feel like it's like when I go home, I'm here, we have family time, and then I'm back to my world.
That's great.
How are we doing on time right now?
Well, we're at about 1:10, so we're creeping in at the very end of the podcast.
Cool. I wasn't sure because I reset this a couple times, so I just wanted to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No problem. We're creeping in at the end. So I guess we'll just kind of wrap it up here with some like last questions. What was school like for you? Who were you as a student, as a young kid?
Since we're on,
what was what were your favorite
things.
Subjects? What cliques were you in?
Right. So I spent most of my life being homeschooled.
Oh shit.
That makes total sense. I see that. That makes total fucking sense.
Yo,
it's all coming together now.
I've finally like accepted my whole life story to where I can like really embrace that. But as a kid, it was I would have been like, no, why would you say that? I don't want to see anything. I
went to church. I came through a very, very Christian family. You're like the homeschool jump off girl. You know what I mean? Yeah. Niggas like you're mad fun. You ain't really Christian like that. And I'll be the one sneaking out and be like, yo, I got a little bit of weed. Come back, this sermon's going to be crazy, nigga. Let's smoke this shit.
Literally the first time I smoked weed was on a church, like, retreat.
Exactly.
We went back into that worship service. We're like, hallelujah.
And you were into that shit, too. You're like, God damn. The spirit of God and that shit.
And it was called Cloud 9. I was like, come on, they're asking for it.
That's funny.
It was called Cloud 9, did you say?
Yeah, the retreat itself.
Yeah. See, I knew you. I didn't know you, but gold. I know your energy,
That's gold.
Yo.
Come from the same shit, man. Come from the same shit. Did you ever go to like a Christian camp? Like, you did say a Christian retreat and shit.
Yeah.
Was it like a summer camp thing, or is it like a day thing? What's up?
Well, no, I never did like a summer camp, but like I was on the worship team for my youth group. I played keyboard and I sing sometimes. Yeah, that was my technically.
Wow.
I have to say I'm very thankful for it in that sense, where it's like church. As a performer and specifically a musician, it can be a really good opportunity just for practice.
And I came from a good church too that wasn't like super crazy with like their thoughts on things, so it wasn't so bad for me, you know. So I kind of get what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, like I think I was able to make the most of it for what it was at that time. But what's it called? What else did you ask me? You were like, oh yeah, school and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I homeschooled most of my life, and then I had started out the first couple years in like a small private school, and then I had technically graduated when I was 16, and I thought, oh perfect, now I can move out. Like that's why I was trying to like skip grades, because I was trying to just like get the hell out.
Yeah.
And then my parents were like, no, you're not leaving when you're 16.
Yeah.
So they're like, you need to stay one more year. And so then I kind of like had this random notion that I wanted to go to Cornell. And then they were like, well, if you want to go to an Ivy League school, you're going to need AP credits. So I was like, oh, perfect. I had to go to an actual public high school to get AP credits.
Oh, wow.
So I was enrolled in these 3 classes at this high school. And I just was like, I'm going to turn this into my senior year. I'm going to turn this into like the year of normal high school that I always wanted.
Yeah.
But I milked the hell out of that shit. Like I had the lead dancing role in the music video, or in the musical, the fall musical. I had the lead role in the spring drama. At the end of the year, I got the senior superlative for America's Next Top Model.
Wow, damn, all right.
It's a decent sized high school, so she made mark.
And it's all come true.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
Next on True Life, Gabriella Alexis Gallexii. You're now watching VH1 with Kyle and Phil. Welcome to True Life.
But I think honestly that was kind of the first me that year transitioning from being in a very sheltered environment, being homeschooled, only really going to like a Christian ballet school and church, different shit, like to then just go to a high school and actually make a lot of friends and be someone that was like respected and well liked. Like it showed me, like I was like, okay, like I can do this. It's the same format for really anything else in life. Unfortunately, like life is kind of just like set up very similarly to fucking high school in the sense of just like social shit and the way these kind of ladders move and work and whatnot.
Was that like a big perceived obstacle for you before you went to the high school? Like,
totally.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, or it's like it's not that I always knew that like I would be able to excel at it because I knew how badly I wanted it, but I knew. I mean, I was generally, I really was sheltered to the point where it's like I didn't grow up listening to the music that people were listening to. I didn't grow up watching barely any movies. So I was culturally very out of it. And I still am. There are still so many references that just completely go over my head because I just didn't grow up around it. So I knew that because a lot of people, there's a lot of stress put on like being quote unquote in the know and being, knowing a lot of different references and whatnot. So it's like, I knew that just navigating that alone was going to be very challenging. And I think for me, that's kind of why I fell in love with like fashion and clothing. That was kind of what I clung to was because I'd already started making my own clothes from when I was like, I don't know, 12, 14, something. So I always knew that like anytime I walked in a room, people always got excited about my outfits. And when I told them that I made my own clothes, they're like, oh my God. So I knew that if anything else, even if I was the weird girl who like didn't really know shit, at least I was gonna be the best dressed. And that, because, somewhere like New York, obviously there's such a huge influence of fashion. It transferred really well to where I was able to use a lot of those same fucking strategies to be able to just like navigate different circles and
I see you posting your clothing all the time on Instagram and I'm assuming you make like most of your costumes and stuff like that.
A lot of it's simple shit, like I made like this mesh turtleneck. Like I like making practical things. I like making things that I can
you made this yourself? Wow.
I like to use a lot of stretch material because as a dancer I'm constantly moving and I've had enough like crotches ripped out of my jeans and you know. So it's like, yeah, I like that shit to be able to move well. I want to be. I don't think I need to sacrifice comfortability to, you know, look where one or the other. Sometimes, yes, I want to be fucking vain, and I will wear that impractical ass shit. You know.
Yeah.
But this, you get the same result and it's comfortable.
You know.
So I feel you.
Sorry, I was gonna ask one more thing. Just in regards to her fashion and her clothing making. Do you want to have your own brand at some point further down the road?
Not necessarily.
No.
I think, yeah. My whole thing has always been, because I also really love just like altering thrifted clothing, and I try to keep buying new fabric to a minimum. So, and at this point too, because so many of my friends know that I do this, like people will just donate me like bags of their clothes or their fabric all the time. So at this point, it's like I don't need to be buying new shit, and there is so much clothing and textiles already in circulation on this planet, as we all know, that like I don't want to add a whole, like I'm like, for what? We don't need more clothes. Like we have world hunger, and I'm not saying there aren't people in certain areas who don't have like proper clothing, of course, but it doesn't need to be that way based off of the amount of like clothing that is in circulation.
Right.
So,
I also believe that the fashion industry is one of the largest contributors to like I don't know if it's
environment.
I can't remember exactly.
Of course,
it's not
all the plants
CO2.
manufacturing shit that people could still be wearing, but they throw out. And
think about that. Yeah, for sure.
It's nothing but waste.
No, it's absurd. So I don't really want to contribute to that. For me, I'd rather just kind of give people a template of like how to create a lifestyle of essentially doing other versions of what I do. I mean, many people already, you know, I'm not the first person to like alter thrifted clothing.
Right.
But yeah, I just want to really create more of a culture of that, to where, you know, if anything, I just want to share those tools of little tips and tricks maybe that I use to make that stuff easier and more practical and more efficient. But yeah, the whole reason I make clothing is just because I want to wear what I want to wear. I'm not necessarily interested in like seeing somebody else wearing my piece. Like that just doesn't really do anything for me.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you. I have a couple questions, but I guess we're kind of creeping up to the end of the podcast. So I'll ask you this final one. If you were to go back in time to see young, Gallexii.
Gallexii?
young
Gallexii?
Gallexii, sorry.
I say
Gallexii is kind of
Gallexii.
fire.
No, Gallexii. No, naturally people are gonna think that, and I am the Gallexii.
Sorry,
but I say Gallexii.
Gallexii. No, that's nice. It's beautiful. But if you were to see young Gallexii, like 25 years ago or something, what would you say to her?
I would say, keep doing what you're doing, girl. You're on the right track. Just keep going. Just be patient and it's the cheesy shit. Like literally, just like follow your heart. Don't and just keep going. Because I'm still, it's like I'm still obviously very much in that process. A lot of stuff I haven't seen the fruition of a lot of my work yet. I have seen the fruition of enough though to just know that, everything in time.
The Gallexii is yours.
The Gallexii is yours.
Hey.
Goddamn right. I think that's the title.
That might be the title.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. I think we did the damn
That's
thing,
a wrap,
bro.
y'all.
That's a wrap on that.
Hell yeah.
That is a ribbity wrap.
Thank you guys for watching Learning Things with Kyle and Phil. I'm Phil.
I'm Kyle. Thank you so much to Gallexii, Gabriella, Alexis, the one and only. Thank you so much for coming in here.
Thank you so much.
And
you're the best.
Yeah, thanks. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace, guys.
Cute.